Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Writing Tips. So, I know you've all been waiting on this video eagerly, so I'm going to give you a very quick rundown of paper organization. Now, before we start, I just want to clarify that these are just training wheels. It's not like I'm looking at your paper and I'm saying to myself, this person didn't follow my template, nor did they follow my paper organization document, which I spent so much time on. I don't do that. If you have an organized paper, I'm a happy camper, right? Just to make sure that you are adhering to all the assignment directions for whatever class you have me, and you'll be doing just fine. But if you are like most students that I have who are brilliant thinkers and excellent writers, but feel crushing anxiety when it comes to the part where they have to organize their thoughts onto a document, this paper or this document is for you. I would highly encourage you to do it. So you can look back over all the resources that I've given you, all the videos that we've made. I've got links to everything that we've talked about too. So if you see something that's in blue and underlined, it's a hyperlink, go ahead and click on it. It'll take you to the video that I have given you to introduce you to that particular idea if you need some more clarification. Okay? Sound good? All right. So for paper organization, here's what you're going to do. We're going to go through it step by step. The first paragraph that you have to write is your introductory paragraph. It's going to include your introduction followed immediately by your thesis statement. Okay? So your introduction, as we've said, it's just an engaging essay starter that's going to connect the big idea, the topic of your paper, to some sort of historical context, a larger idea that connects to your topic, or some personal anecdote that you have. Okay? That's it. Something that grabs the reader's interest. You're not limited to those three ideas, but those are generally pretty good avenues to get you connected to your thesis statement. And just as we discussed for that thesis statement, you're going to lay out your overall argument. And it's got to respond directly to the prompt. So if the prompt is, what is your evaluation of the film? Or what is the most reasonable position to take on raising taxes? That sounds really boring. But whatever it may be, your thesis statement has to answer that question. Okay? So make sure before you write your thesis statement, in whatever class you're in, that you identify what the prompt is. What is your professor asking you to write an essay about? Generally, there will be a question. You need to answer that question specifically with your thesis statement. This is all review. Click on the thesis statement video if you need to watch it, okay? So once again, your thesis statement is going to have your topic, which is whatever you're discussing in the paper, whether that's taxes, Sesame Street, how awesome the Mavericks are, how stylish Professor Heaton is, how intelligent Professor Heaton is, how great a writer Professor Heaton is, whatever it is that you want to talk about, right? Now your attitude is your position on the topic, and you need to begin this portion with a verb. So if your topic is something like French fries, right? Let's say Chick-fil-A French fries. That's your topic. Chick-fil-A French fries. Begin the portion with a verb, the attitude. Are. Okay? Now, what's your position about Chick-fil-A French fries? Are the best fast food French fries. Okay? So now you've got a position. You've got an argument that you've got to make throughout the rest of your paper. Details. These are the reasons for your position. It helps to start this portion with because, by, or through. There are other words you can use here, but those are words that help you get the ball rolling. So you could say, Chick-fil-A French fries, topic, are the best French fries, attitude, because of their texture, shape, and flavor. Something like that. That's very simple. Okay? And then you can just follow this template right here. I'm perfectly comfortable if you want to copy and paste this. Give me your catchy introduction. That video will help you write one. Then give me your full thesis statement. Chick-fil-A French fries are the best French fries because of their texture, what do we say, shape and flavor. Pretty easy. Okay, that's your introductory paragraph, your first paragraph. Then you move into the body paragraphs. So the purpose of your body paragraphs is to persuade the reader that your thesis is the most reasonable position to take. So your position that Chick-fil-A French fries are the best French fries, you have to persuade your readers that are misinformed, that think Whataburger has good French fries or McDonald's has good French fries. You have to persuade them that your position is the best position that you can take. Okay? Now you have to make sure that these paragraphs are supporting your thesis statement. Everything must go through your thesis statement. Your thesis statement is like a funnel, right? If I'm trying to put information or text through that funnel and it won't fit, meaning it doesn't align with your thesis statement, get it out of there. Everything in your essay works to demonstrate, prove, and support your thesis. Okay? Now, once again, you can click on all these videos to go over my unpacking of all these terms. You got to have a topic sentence. This is going to lay out the argument for the body paragraph. You have to have at least one line of evidence that demonstrates the argument of your topic sentence. And then lastly, you need to have some kind of analysis, which is an explanation of your evidence and connecting to your reader and trying to explain to them why this matters. Okay? Now, I don't know how many body paragraphs you're going to have, right? So for the purpose of this template, I've given you 3 body paragraph spaces. And you'll see here in body paragraph 1, this is the topic sentence should directly relate to detail 1 in your thesis. So if detail 1 in your thesis is about the texture of Chick-fil-A French fries, well, then your topic sentence should be about the texture of Chick-fil-A French fries and how that makes them the best. Same thing with body paragraph 2, directly related to detail 2. Body paragraph 3, directly related to detail 3. Now, that's super nice and clean. Will your essays always work like this? Of course not. And here's the reason why. You might have a lot to say about the texture of Chick-fil-A French fries. In fact, you may have tons to say about the texture of Chick-fil-A French fries. You might need to break it down into multiple paragraphs because you have so much to say and they're kind of different ideas about the texture. If that's true, that's okay. You might have multiple paragraphs that contribute to proving detail 1 of your thesis statement. That's fine. Now, there's also ways in which you might have paragraphs that don't directly correlate to your thesis statement. This may be an instance of something like a counter-argument or another sort of argument that's going to undergird your overall argument but may not be part of your main reasoning. And that's okay. That's okay. Don't panic about that. Your thesis statement just serves to give me the big main ideas that you're going to unpack in your essay. Okay? So don't get so caught up in how many paragraphs you have. It's not like, I'm going through it with a fine-tooth comb. I'm just making sure that the big arguments that you have in your essay are something that you mentioned in your overall argument in that thesis statement. That's it. So you might have more than 3 body paragraphs, and who cares? As long as it's organized, no big deal. Okay? And then lastly is your conclusion. Your conclusion is the final push to persuade your reader of your position. Now, historically, a lot of my Comp 1 students have said that the way you write a conclusion is to restate your thesis. And I think that's just a really simple way for teachers to tell emerging writers in middle school and high school what to do at the end of their paper. There's nothing wrong with that, but now that we're moving into collegiate level writing, it's time to take off those training wheels and to step into some more adventurous, exciting, and interesting ways to conclude your paper. So here are some different ways that I would recommend finishing your paper. Think, what is an interesting or original way to restate your main points? Don't just slap on your thesis statement. Don't reword it. Think about the essence of your thesis statement. Think about your overall argument. Can you say that in another way that's catchy, that might grab your reader's attention? Another thing you can do is think about what's important or interesting about the topics that you've made, right? So the reason why you're writing an essay and taking a position on it, or your position is important to you. Why is it important? Why does it matter? How is it interesting? Okay. Another option you have is, what can readers take away from my essay that is useful or that might shed light on their own lives or the world around them? Okay? So think largely, globally here. How does your issue, and specifically your position on your issue, affect people in your community, people in your country, people in the world? How does it affect everyone, and why should they care? Especially if you're in my Comp 2 classes and you're writing about big things like race or gender or class, this would be a really easy avenue to write about here, how these things affect people at large. And lastly, if you're describing a problem in your paper, what's the solution? Do you have any ideas? This is a chance for you to get creative and kind of spin some of your own thoughts. Okay, so just to reiterate, Your first paragraph is your introductory paragraph, which is going to be your introduction and thesis. That's one paragraph by itself. Then you're moving into your body paragraphs that are aiming to unpack your thesis statement and demonstrate why it's the most reasonable position you can take. And lastly, you're going to conclude your essay with some sense of a final punch that persuades your reader that your position is right and that they should care. A couple tidbits that you don't have to follow. Lots of times when I write essays, I get really hung up on that introduction because I'm trying to connect what I've written to a larger idea or think about some sort of personal story that I have that connects with it. That's really difficult. What I like to do, you don't have to do this, I like to write the thesis first, then write my body paragraphs, then write my conclusion, and hang with me, then I write my introduction. That's what I do. It's wild. In my opinion, the introduction is the hardest thing to write. Save it for last. You'll have a better idea of where your paper is going, the tone of your paper. It's a lot better to write an introduction once you have all of that information already written out. Okay? Okay, so that's a very simple form of paper organization. If you're in my comp class, I will make this available to you. If for some reason you're coming across this video and you do not have this document available to you, you might be in a forms of literature class or a literature class in general, just email me and say, hey, Heaton, can you send me that document? And I'll say, you got it, students. All right, have a good week.